Namaste everyone. I'm Orgho from Moromia Spiritual Society. Welcome to our English channel, Moromia English. Today is the 8th live session, and the name of today's episode is the role of the Guru. Now we all know, just 2 days back, we celebrated Guru Purnima throughout this country and beyond. Now Guru Purnima is a very auspicious day in this country. It's primarily the birth anniversary of Guru Vyasa. But in this day, all the seekers and the disciples pay their respect and prayers to their respective gurus. Now, due to the globalization, this word guru has lost its value. Sometimes we associate the word guru with words like master, mentor, motivator, which have nothing to do with the word guru. Guru is not someone who owns us, not someone who just teaches us a few steps, not someone who just motivates us to fulfill our own desires. Guru is something or someone that has to be experienced by our own sadhana. Guru is not a simple word, it's a completely different paradigm. To understand or to actually go beyond the depths of the word guru, we have to come close to someone who is that big or that kind of a person who is himself or herself a guru. Now, as I say to everyone every time we meet here in these live sessions, that please share these sessions to everyone who are actually willing to understand and realize and go on to this path of Adhyatmic world. So again today I would like to request you all that please share this link, because these discussions are so important, are so significant, that we all seekers or even people who have deep thirst in spiritual knowledge should be part of. Now, before proceeding to the main program, where our respected and beloved Jaideep Maharaj will speak about the role of Guru, I would like to invite Devashish Da in this platform.
Namaskar, Arjun.
Namaste.
As you rightly said that though we are getting response from our audience, but we need more and more response, more and more shares are needed, so that what message Jayadev Maharaj is giving to us, that can be spread to all people as much as possible. So today's topic is on Guru and role of Guru. We just uh, observed Guru Purnima 2 days back. So the role of Guru is very relevant these days, I think. As you said that this Guru Parampara, you can say that from our epics we have seen that in Mahabharata, in Ramayana, all the great person had their gurus and they showed the way. It is not like that they showed few steps in their life and they just carried them up to their death, like Arjuna. Like you can say that Guru of Bhima, Guru of Duryodhana. So we can say that the role of Guru is of immense importance in our life from that day to today's life. In this session, we'll get great knowledge, details knowledge on the role of Guru in our life. So, without wasting our time, we will invite Jaideep Maharaj in this program. Maharaj,
Namaskar.
namaskar.
Thank you, Orgo and Devashish, for your nice and heartfelt introduction to this program, to this special session. I offer my pranam to our Guru, Swami Paramananda, and I also offer pranam to all the Gurus of every person who are today listening to this program, and to all the Gurus in the past also, who have enriched our culture, our dharmic traditions, our daily lives, and has given us ideals and have given us the path towards light. And it is a great occasion that just after the Guru Purnima, that we all observed and celebrated throughout the country and also elsewhere, we are getting a chance to talk about this topic, very relevant topic. People keep asking us about the role of the guru, whether it is important, whether one should have a guru, and so it's very relevant. And I think people will get some answers today to their doubts and queries about guru, how to recognize a guru, how to identify a guru, how to seek for a guru. So all these questions and the queries keep coming up. So yes, let us start then with any follow-up questions that you may have.
Yes,
We can
yes,
start with
Maharaj.
them. Then we
Yes,
can
Maharaj.
transition towards the topic of the guru.
Yes, Maharaj. Before going to our main topic, we had one follow-up question. It was asked by Sumitabha Biswas. Actually, it was from one of our program. He observed that, and he told that I don't have any doubt in my mind, but as per our previous satsang, I couldn't understand a certain point that you said. After that, he asked his question actually: is it really possible to become Krishna? Just like Sri Ram Krishna Dev, you cannot be that. It is a much higher consciousness which has descended in our realm of our love. But we can strive to become Vivekananda. Live a life mandated by ideas, worldview. Isn't the purpose of the life to become Arjun? So this was his question, Maharaj.
Thank you, Devashish, and thank you, Shumitabo, for the query. Well, to begin with, I don't think I have ever mentioned in any of the satsangs that it is our aim is to become a Krishna. So I don't know from where your doubt has come, because I don't say such things basically because I know that it cannot be done. I never say that the aim of life is to become Ramakrishna or to become Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or even to become somebody like Buddha. Because not only that, every person, every divine incarnation is unique. And that is why it is called Leela. Leela is a very, very deep and meaningful word in Sanskrit, which again does not have an English equivalent. Just a very loose translation could be divine play. But one of the things about Leela is that it cannot be repeated. None of the lives of these great sages, of these great divine incarnations, can ever be repeated. So there is no question of anybody becoming Krishna or Ramakrishna, or for that matter, any of these divine figures. And I also never try to say such things like try to become a Vivekananda or try to become like Arjun. I don't think I have said things like that. Even if I did, then I think we should try to see the context of what I said. I won't even say, suppose you, Shumitabu, become a very great person. I won't tell anybody, try to become Shumitabu. You know, I can say, try to emulate the values of Shumitabu. Try to learn from the effort that Shumitabu has put in to enrich his life. I can speak in those terms. But Shumitabho is unique. Shumitabho, Orgo, and Devashish, Each is unique, a manifestation that can never be repeated, not at least in this kalpa cycle. So there is no question of somebody becoming somebody else. There is no question of somebody imitating someone else. You can say that some people can be emulated. So people like Vivekanand or other sages or other great personalities who have some principles of Shiv in them, you can emulate them, but you cannot imitate them. You can't expect that one person to become a copy of another great person. It does not happen in nature. You see, in nature, we have millions of trees and thousands of flowers, but even when two trees are the same variety, the same species, and they bring forth similar fruits and flowers, even there, each flower is different from the other. The idea of the flower is to blossom to its full potential and not to imitate the blossoming of another flower. That is also true for our spiritual or our dharmic traditions. And your question is very interesting because it reminded me of a very interesting conversation that one Buddhist monk had with our Guruji. I will try to reconstruct that conversation, try to, as far as possible, faithfully to narrate that conversation, which I was a part of in Bonogram Ashram many years ago. So this Buddhist monk, he was Bengali, and before he had become a monk, he had married, he had a family, but then the family, they could not stick with each other, so they separated, and he became a Buddhist monk. So this particular person, Guruji used to like him. He was very argumentative and had sort of kind of one-pointed brain. It was very difficult for him to accept other points of view. But at the same time, he was a simple person and very argumentative. So there was a very interesting conversation. He was always trying to prove that Buddhism is much superior to Hinduism, as usually happens with all religious faiths and beliefs. One day, he started telling Guruji that in your dharma, nobody can become a Krishna. Krishna is always the divine head, and there is always a separation. But in our Buddhism, it is possible for each person to become a Buddha. That is what my seniors have always taught me. So Guruji said, I beg to disagree. It is not possible for any one of you to become a Buddha. It is possible for each one of you to attain the state of Buddha. It's very important to make this distinction. It's possible for each one of you to attain the state of Buddha, but none of you can ever become the Gautam Buddha, the great reformer, the great master who had lived in India 2,500 years ago. So it is not possible, he said. And this man kept on arguing. No, that is what you are saying. But our masters, our gurus are always saying that it is possible to become a Buddha. So Guruji again insisted what they are saying is true in the sense that Buddha himself said that Buddha is a state. Buddha is not a person. And when I am saying that you cannot become a Gautam Buddha, I am talking about that personality, that life. Nobody can become that. You can become what you are. You can fully manifest, fully flower to your full potential and attain the state of Buddha. You can say the same state that Gautam Buddha was in. But after that, even after attaining the state, the manifestation of that state will be different. And talking about Krishna, he said, I will ask you, think about a situation that you are in the battlefield and just on the brink of a great war where there's a lot of sound and cries and conch shells and elephants thumping the ground. Is tremendous sound and tremendous excitement, fear, bloodshed, everything is going to start from this moment. And Krishna is totally focused on driving the chariot of Arjun, because Arjun had requested him to take the chariot to the middle of the battlefield so that he can watch the two sides from a distance, from the middle of the field. And it was then that he completely broke down and he lost his confidence, he lost his morale, and then he started asking very existential questions on life to Krishna. And in that mayhem, in that cacophony of sounds, in that utter confusion and the mood of warfare, aggression, Krishna switched immediately from being a charioteer to a guru, to the great Krishna that he was, and he fully concentrated on Arjun without worrying about what is going to happen to the war. It's on the brink of starting, and now look, Arjun is in this mood, so what will I do? Without thinking of these things, he started doing a high level of satsang. Will you be able to do that? You know, Guruji asked this monk. He used to call him Bhante, lovingly. Usually in Bengali, we call Buddhist monks Bhante. So he used to call him Bhante. It's like saying Maharaj, you know. And then he said, Krishna had 6 wives. And when he was young, he was almost a boy, he had many lovers. Almost all of them were married. Besides, he also took 16,000 women as wives when he freed them from the prisons of Jarasandha in Magadh. That had a background, it has a story. Because when Jarasandha was defeated, he was a great oppressor, an evil man. So he had captured many beautiful ladies from many kingdoms and put them in a kind of a prison where he could go and have fun with them anytime he wanted, because they were his slaves. So Krishna freed all of them after Jarasandha was defeated in war, or defeated in a kind of a personal duel with Bhim. Now these women said, you think you have done a great job by freeing us. Have you considered what we will do with our lives now? Where will we go? Will the society accept us? Will anybody give us dignity? Will anybody marry us? We were in the prison. We were almost living the lives of prostitutes. And don't you think that we'll have to continue the same thing now that you have freed us? What big blessing is this? What grace is this? So Krishna said, yes, you have a point. So I will give you that dignity. I will give you the respect that you deserve. I will marry you. And you will get the freedom and the dignity of a proper queen of Dwaraka, like anybody else, any other queen of Dwaraka, like any of my 6 wives. And he did that. And while talking about this, Guruji told Bhante, not only the 6 wives of Krishna, but also these 1,600 women, 1,600 women whom Krishna took as wives, none of them felt that Krishna was indifferent to them. Each one of them felt that I am quite special to Krishna. And now, Bhante, you had married. You could not even keep one single woman happy in your life. You got separated and you became a monk because you had a failed family life, right? So, do you think even after you attain great realization, you will ever become a Krishna? Krishna is Krishna. So there is this now we to answer your question specifically, Shumitabu, from a very scientific point of view, there is this aspect of being and there is this aspect of expressing. The diversity is in expression. In the being aspect, it is one. So the state of Nirvana, the state of Buddha, the state of Krishna, you may argue, is the same, or that state of divine knowledge or divine wisdom. The role, the expression, the manifestation is different for each one of us. So there is no question of anybody becoming like somebody else. When you say that each one of us can become an Arjun, technically or from a literal point of view, no. You can become Shumitapu, the 100% manifestation of Shumitapu. You can attain the same state that any sage or any seeker can attain. But after that, what manifestation or what expression becomes your role, it depends on the Divine Mother. And there you are unique. Your role will be completely unique. Bama Kappa had one kind of an expression. Nobody will be able to imitate that. But it is possible to attain the same state of knowledge or love or powers that Bama Kappa had. This is what I'm talking about. So what is the emulating factor about Arjun? Is that he's a sincere seeker in the middle of a crisis. The questions or the queries that are coming are not curiosities, are not merely something that he wants to talk about, something that he wants to ponder about, something that he wants to write about, write an article on after he listens to Krishna. No, these are existential queries in the middle of a great crisis, because now he is required to kill or get killed in the battlefield. So it's not an intellectual pastime for him. That is worth emulating. A query should be like this. It is not important that Arjun should ask very high philosophical questions. It is important that the questions should come from his basic instincts, from his being. And only then we will have a very high level of response from somebody like Krishna. If it is just one of those days in the palace where at dinner time somebody is asking Krishna about karma and about meditation, then even then Krishna will respond, but that will be a different kind of a response. So it's important. The quality of the query is very important. It should come directly from the insides of that person. So that is very important to understand. That is worth emulating. And Arjun is also by himself not a very ordinary person. Remember that. And none of us is. But Arjun is just not one of those people in the battlefield. Arjun is a yogi by nature. If you follow the path of Arjun's life, he is called the Dharmik son of Yudhishthir. Though he was not the son, he was a brother, but he is called that if Yudhishthir had a successor among the Pandavas, it was Arjun. because Arjun's life was an embodiment of dharma. Yudhishthir was more vocal about it, Arjun was more silent. Number one. Number two, Arjun is a symbol of concentration. And that is the power of a yogi. That is a sign of a yogi. As a training, as a person who is training to become a warrior, as a person who is training to become a great archer, his level of concentration was unmatched, as we can see from various episodes in his life. Even during his exile, he took time off to do special sadhana alone. Even moving away from Draupadi, his beloved wife, and his brothers, he was always alone, isolated, doing special sadhana to attain more mastery over his skills. So he was a very focused person. And he was very brave, very courageous. I was also mentioning a few days back that there is a special tree named after him. It is called Arjun. And people who are familiar with Ayurveda know that the skin of this tree, Arjun tree, is very useful for the heart. It's good for a healthy heart. Why is the tree named after Arjun? Because Arjun had a very strong heart. You see, whenever we are in some kind of a trouble, or when there is some tension, then our heart starts to palpitate. You can hear the sound, do, 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 big sound of the heart, because we become nervous. So that happens, you see. But Arjun never experienced such things in his life. Even if he was surrounded by 1,000 people or enemies waiting to kill him, he would be very focused. He would be totally in control. He would do what he would have to do, destroy all of them without any tension, without any nervousness. And even these questions that he had for Sri Krishna, just on the eve of the battle, he was not nervous. Remember, he was not tensed. These were moral questions to him. It was basically built on the fact that what's the purpose of this war? Why would I have to kill these people? I know some of them. Some of them are my grandfathers. Some of them are my gurus. Some of them are my friends and brothers. We have grown up together. We have spent years and years together. Why will I have to kill them? Just for a kingdom? Just for the share of the throne? So much bloodshed? These are not questions that a scared person is asking. These are questions that a person who has an existential crisis, trying to understand his own role, he knows he has a role to play in this battle, a big role. He will have to kill on behalf of the Pandavas the maximum number of people. He knows that. He's expected to do that. He's leading the war on behalf of the Pandavas. So, he needs these answers. He needs the responses. That is where he is worth emulating. We cannot be Arjun, none of us. We cannot be anybody else. But we can emulate and we can learn from some of the things that happens in the lives of these great characters. Number 2 point, the second point is like a crux. So there are two words, Sumitabha, for you to remember. One is the ideal and the other is the aim or the purpose. If we take the example of Sri Ramakrishna, as you yourself raised, and Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna is our purpose and Vivekananda is our ideal. Vivekananda follows certain ideals like truth, like sincerity, complete lack of hypocrisy, courage, a big heart which is sort of devoted or dedicated to the service of others, a big surrender, a mood of surrender to his guru. These are ideals which we can follow. See, Ramakrishna is beyond these ideals. Very important to understand. He sees, somebody like Ramakrishna sees his followers, his disciples, his devotees, notices the potentials each one has and sets up an ideal for them. He is an ideal setter, not a person who follows necessarily these ideals, toto. No, he does follow certain ideals, but he also breaks them because he's beyond. That's why Sri Ramakrishna is never an ideal, or Sri Krishna is never an ideal. Yudhishthir has an ideal. He is a very truthful and honest person. And Sri Krishna coaxes him, urges him to tell a lie in the battlefield. Because Sri Krishna is a purpose. He is thinking about the big effect, the big picture. The war is meant to establish dharma. The war is not a showcase of Yudhishthir's truthfulness. It's not important whether Yudhishthira is personally honest or not. That does not matter. That will matter when he becomes the king of Hastinapur. What matters now is that this Dharmik war has to be won. Adharma would have to be defeated. For that, if needed, to hell with ideals, to hell with rules of the game. You see? So this, from Vivekananda, we can start practicing certain ideals so that we reach the goal. Not to become a Vivekananda, neither to become a Ramakrishna, but to attain the purpose. And that purpose can be Ramakrishna. So again, as a last point, just to explain this in the context of our let's say, our philosophical deities, Vivekananda or Nityananda or Balaram, they are called avatars of Shiv. And Shiv is an embodiment of truth, of love, of renunciation, sacrifice, peace. All these values which we hold very precious. Ramakrishna, then Sri Krishna, Buddha, these avatars are considered embodiments of Vishnu. They are not here to set ideals. They are here to sustain the world, to create certain examples for the world to emulate, not to imitate. I hope you have got my point. And now we can go to the next query, Debashish and Argo. I think your mic is muted.
Yes, yes, yes. As you told us again and again that Shiva principle can be followed, but that principle cannot be imitated. If we can imitate anyone, then we'll just die. We can bring them in front of us, and we have to be ourselves. So, but the Vishnu principle is the purpose. This can be our ideal. This cannot be our ideal, but the purpose. So I'll ask Orgho to ask the next questions, and that is the main part on the role of the group.
Yes, Devasisda. We were listening to Maharaj and we were traveling through the war of Mahabharata and we were experiencing Arjun's strength, courage and also feeling how we are nervous all the time when we are in this kind of situation, and how Arjun is a symbol of strength and courage. And the first story, that the first tale of Vanogram that Maharaj told us about the Buddhist monk who came to Guru Maharaj and asked that why we can't be Krishna. The wonderful answer Maharaj told us, the wonderful response Guru Maharaj has told to everyone then, that yes, it's a state, Buddha is a state, we can achieve that, but to repeat the Leela of Buddha is just a it's kind of a joke. It's impossible, and nothing can be repeated. We can reach a certain destination, but the expression of that destination will be different for all of us. So yes, once again, I think Sumitabha has totally understood the entirety of the discussion, and he's maybe with us, or you listen to this discussion later. So the next question that is very relevant to this day, very important, that is the role of Guru. This is asked by Bhaswati Singh. I think it's a she. She asks, some people say that it is impossible to do sadhana without a guru. Please explain to us the role of a guru. That is the main question of today.
Yes. Thank you, Argo. And yes, Bhashwati, I'll answer, I'll try to respond to Bhashwati Singh's question. Well, as I was saying in the first part, that the main feature of nature is her diversity. Because of nature, I'm using the pronoun she. The main feature of nature is diversity. So it's very important to understand that even in spiritual life, this question of diversity is of great significance. If you go to a particular place, a so-called spiritual place, and if you see that there is a community of people, it can be an ashram, it can be a retreat, it can be a center, it can be a place. This particular community of people have the same rituals. Each person has the same kind of mood, with the same language, with the same attitude, as if one person is the replica of the other. You can be rest assured that they are under a spell of a guru who has imposed his own bias on these people. So there is a guru, but you can say he is an organizational guru, or he is a communal guru. I'm not using the word communal in an aggressive sense. Nowadays, when we say communal, we think about all these fundamentalists, extremists. Not necessarily. People who only identify themselves in the community. When there's a community and that community has one type of mantra, one song, one kind of dress, one stereotype kind of a sadhana, everybody is with the same color, same hue, then we can say that's a communal place. You can also, some can also say that it's like a cult. Like Scientology is a cult. You see? In the same way. So when you see that, you will be able to recognize that there is a guru, even if you have not seen him yet, who seems to be imposing a kind of a bias, something that he likes. His own path, maybe. Maybe his own type of devotion. Maybe his own type of meditation. Or maybe his own type of vipassana, whatever. And he's imposing that on his disciples and followers, making them almost crafted from the same caste. You see, caste is something like you make a model with clay and it becomes a caste, and from that you can create 1,000 statues 1,000 images. That's called a caste. C-A-S-T, not C-A-S-T-E. That caste as in different classes of people, that's different. So then you see that there is a guru here, but he is not a Sadhguru. When you go to some other place and you see the diversity of that place, when you see that there are yogis here, there are Gyan yogis here. Gyan yogis are people whose path is discrimination. There are devotees here, different types of devotees. There are karma yogis here in the same place. There are also kriya yogis here. And they live quite peacefully, happily with each other, without arguments, without problems. None of them says that my path is the best. Each person says that my path is good for me, his path is good for him. You know, in that place, that the umbrella of that place is a Sadhguru who does not have a bias. He understands and recognizes the individuals, their potential. He sees what each one is good at. He identifies the mode of sadhana, the path for each person, that everyone is unique, and he prescribes individually. For the general, he might do satsangs, that's different, like our Guruji used to do. But for people, for individuals, he gives special sadhana for that particular person. The mantra can be different, the mood can be different. Even when he's giving initiation to a couple, let's say a husband and wife, they can have completely separate, two different paths for their own sadhana. They do not have to have the same mantra. They do not have to share the same path. Because from previous life forms, they had come from separate ways. And in this life, they have built up a relationship. So that each one will again, in the spiritual path, move along his own path. They do not have to do the same thing. So all these things are very, very important to recognize that this is a Sadhguru. There is a Sadhguru, even if you haven't seen him yet, but here is a Sadhguru. So this is a pointer to the first part of your question, where you asked that some people say that it is impossible to do sadhana without a guru. Because to do sadhana, you have to first understand what is your nature, and it is not possible for you to understand. Why? Because your curiosity is not enough to awaken the hidden energies and the hidden mysteries within your body that are there, the chakras, the mystic centers. They are not enough. It is only when these chakras start to become active, it is only when the inner nature starts to awaken, that you will be able to recognize that you have this kind of a nature, individual nature. What is your individual nature? Is it the path of discrimination? It is the path of devotion? It is a path of dhyan, meditation, Raj Yoga. Is it the path of Kriya Yoga? Is it the path of seva or service? What is your path? How will you know your path? So at the superficial level, that is the first problem that you encounter. when you are trying to do sadhana without a guru, from where are you getting your sources of information to do sadhana? From books? From friends? How will they know what is good for you? How will they know what is good for them unless they have met a guru, a Sadhguru? From YouTube channels? From Facebook articles? From Twitter? So how will you know your own nature, so that you will be able to proceed according to your mood, according to your, because your special personal characteristics. So that is why without a guru, you can start having some kind of a conception about life and its purpose. You can have some conception about dharma. But if you want to experience the truths of life, if you want to experience enlightenment, if you want perception, if you want to feel directly, then you need someone to show you the path. So yes, for general spiritual, because otherwise you will see that in 90% of cases, not only in other countries, but also in Bharat, in our own country, most of the people who are even those who are devotees, who are part of ashrams, who are in the spiritual life, most of them claim that their path is the only path, that their path is the best. Please don't mind all those members of the audience who are part of this Kriya Yoga tradition. I have noticed that most of the people who have taken this Kriya Yoga Diksha or initiation are always claiming very boastfully that Kriya Yoga is the only way. The other ways are all nonsense. You see, this ego itself is a big impediment. And it is not true. Not at all. It is for a person whose body, whose mind, whose nature is suited for Kriya Yoga. It is true for that person. But there may be another person. Not only there may be, there are other persons with other moods, other tendencies, other type of nature. And for them, Kriya Yoga can be a disaster. Plain and simple. Whether you like it or not. That is true, absolutely true. We have seen such instances. We are seeing such instances all the time around us. This is not only happening with Kriya Yoga, with everything. And that is a problem. That is the problem not only with us, that's the problem also with the gurus who pretend that they know everything. So there may be gurus who might help you up to a certain point. They might give you some conception, they might help you, they might advise you, they might give you good advice in the time of trouble, when you are in some kind of problem. They might give some kind of consolation. They might be by your side. But to show you your path and to take responsibility, because that is what a Sadhguru should be able to do, to take responsibility. He's not such a person who just shows you the way and disappears. Now up to you, it's your life. I've shown you the way. Goodbye. I'm gone. No, that's not a Sadhguru. Sadhguru takes responsibility of you. Till you have attained freedom from this bondage, from attachment, from slavery to your desires, he is there with you. That is the ultimate responsibility of the Sadhguru. So yes, you need not only a guru, you need a Sadhguru. And as we had said in the very beginning of our program, as Argo and Debashish, we are talking to you about the fact that we are using this word guru very flippantly nowadays. We are not even thinking about it. We are using for all aspects of our life, of our professional life, commercial life, our, let's say, our celebrity life, about our life in sports. Everywhere we are using the word guru, where there are many other words like mentor, like guide, like trainer, coach, many instructor, inspirer, motivator. There are many other words. We are all substituting these words for guru and pretending that now we understand this term. Guru is a Sanskrit word, and it has two aspects to it, gu and ru. Gu means darkness, ru means light. So a person who leads us from darkness to light is guru. So you see, the word is very specific. What is the darkness? The darkness of ignorance. And what is the light? The light of wisdom, the light of true divine love. So again, it's very, very specific and very spiritual. Even sometimes nowadays, one has to question this word spiritual, because the root of this word is spiritualist, comes from the word spirit. A spiritualist was someone 200 years back who could drive out evil spirits from affected people. When somebody was possessed by ghosts and evil spirits, then these spiritualists were called somewhat like shamans. And they did a lot of treatment. Some treatment with mantras, treatment with some kind of maybe roots of trees, treatment by beating up that person, and do various things to drive out the evil spirit. Some were good at it, some were not so good at it. So from spirit to spiritualist to now it has become a very beautiful, fashionable word, spiritualism or spirituality, which people now understand to be something related to our deeper and divine understanding of life. So it is very risky to use this word. Jesus was known as a spiritualist in the beginning of his, let's say, preaching career. You see, when he came back from his travels, that is what he was known for. Within a few months, he became very famous because he was a very, very powerful spiritualist. Villagers used to bring these women and these men who have been possessed by ghosts, bring them to other spiritualists, and they did not succeed so fast and so well as Jesus did. Jesus, with one, in one sentence, he would say, "Go away," and that ghost would go away, disappear, that evil spirit. And that is how he became famous. And he also performed some other miracles, as you know. So people started getting attracted to him, and then he started preaching. When he had an audience, then people were ready to listen to him. When they saw that this man is slightly special, he's more than a spiritualist. You see? So even using this word spirituality or spiritualism is something one has to, take with a pinch of salt. These are very, very deep adhatmic questions that when we are talking about Guru, we are not talking about something like secular spirituality. No, we are not. And I distrust this idea of secular spirituality, where we are not going to talk about the divine. We are not going to talk about divine love or a divine harmony or divinity, or we are not talk about avatars, because all that smacks of, let's say, beyond physical realities, smacks of consciousness beyond our understanding. Yes, that is what divinity is. It is beyond our understanding. We are not supposed to understand divinity. We are supposed to experience it. I have no problem if you keep God out of the whole equation. Because as you know, as I've been talking about repeatedly in our live sessions, the word God does not exist. A similar word or an equivalent or a synonym does not exist in Bharatiya culture, in Bharatiya Dharma. There are words like Brahma, pure consciousness. There are words like Ishwar, very difficult to translate. The seer, you can say. There are words like Bhagavan, personal God. It doesn't have to be God for everybody. My Guru can be my Bhagavan, to me. That does not mean that he has to be your Bhagavan as well. So these words are there. But the almighty figure of one male image who had created this world, who is maintaining this world, who will destroy this world, who will be there at the end for the judgment and all that. That type of God does not exist in our mythologies, in our Puranas, in our scriptures, anywhere. They don't exist. I'm talking about all these things because Bhashwati, you may feel that these are irrelevant. Not really, not at all. Before we really explore deep into the word Guru or into the role of the Guru, these things have to be cleared up. Because these are essentially words that have come from Bharat. And to understand the role of the Guru, one has to understand our dharmic traditions, the dharmic values, our dharmic history, the path, the sadhana. When we talk about sadhana, we mean exclusively to attain a kind of a fulfillment of our potential. And that fulfillment is like divine. For example, I'll tell you, like, for example, many rationalists argue when they get into conversations with me, now I understand what you mean by dharma. It is the sum of all natural laws. No, it is not. Dharma is not the sum of all natural laws. When you say that, you mean a bit of Einstein, a bit of Darwin's theory of evolution, and now you understand what is dharma. Dharma is laws. No, laws of nature. There are inherent potentials and powers in nature which material science has not been able to explore yet, which no Darwinian evolutionist will ever understand. The potential that human being has within to become a divine being, which Sri Aurobindo used to say, the supramental consciousness. It is part of nature, but the unexplored, unexpressed part of nature that can be explored and expressed through sadhana. So it is not, dharma is not the sum of all natural laws. Dharma is a path that helps us from humanity to divinity, the path that leads us to this. The evolutionary science of Darwin, for example, is limited, is extremely limited to the physical evolution. And he has not recognized or never understood or will never understand the rebirth, the cycle, the involution that is going on, the inward journey along with the outward evolution. So he does not understand what will happen to a human being after he attains the human body. What is evolution after that? Darwinian evolution theory does not explain that. You see? So these things have to be, kept in mind before we delve into the word or the role of the Guru. So we have talked about these things, and I would ask Arghya and Debashish to give a little summary so that people sort of can keep a track of the background or the context before we proceed further. Yes.
Yes, Maharaj. We were listening to you about first of all, I would like to say the word guru that you said, the Sanskrit word that you emphasized, that the word gu and then ru, that's the two part of the word. The gu means darkness, from eternal darkness, the person who shows us the light, ru, towards the light. And you have always told us in your satsangs that only a lamp that is burning can only ignite other lamps. So I have always felt that if I see an ocean in a picture, I really don't get an idea of what ocean is. I have to go there, I have to meet the ocean, and I have to be there, I have to understand the smell of the surrounding, eat the food there, and also talk with the people, and then seeing the vastness of the ocean, I can get a glimpse of an idea of an ocean is. So similarly, when we talk about Guru, if it's a book or some great person who has lived many years before us, maybe it's okay for us, for guiding towards some path, but for me or for many seekers, I have seen this, that we need a person who is living and breathing. We need a relationship with a person. And as you were telling us that in the beginning of this satsang, of this response, that if we go to a place and we see the people are all crafted repeatedly in a same manner, like all kriya yogis or all karma yogis or all or divine yogis or bhakti yogis, then it's a guru, but it's a normal guru who says the same stuff, who goes on telling the same words. But if we go to a place and we see there is a variety of people who are great in their respective fields, in their respective bhavs or natures, it's like a forest that you always told. The garden has all the flowers that are unique, one flower, but a forest has everything in it, and that's what the nature is of the world. So if I am a karma yogi, a guru makes me a karma yogi, and if Debashish Da is a dhyan yogi, then guru makes him a dhyan yogi. So yes, we have to go and first of all identify our own nature to this person. And as you were saying, the word guru has lost its value, and really there are words that are very bad in that manner. People also say this word sex guru, they say the words drug guru, and the thieves guru. So these words, the guru was in a dimension that people could hardly understand or fathom. People had to do sadhana to get to that part. And now the use of word guru has got so downtrodden that we really don't understand the gravity of that word that we were in. So yes, as we were discussing the thing that about the spirituality and spiritualist, the shamans that are now considered as guru. So first of all, to understand guru, we have to understand the word from an Indian perspective, from the perspective of Bharat. And now, Maharaj, this is another query that always comes to my mind, that or maybe there are also other seekers that think that maybe I'm a bhakti yogi, or maybe I'm a dhyan yogi, but at a point of time maybe a person feels that only the guru, only my guru, only the relationship of my guru is the only thing that matters. Even I practice, maybe I will wake up in the morning and I will do the dhyan, I will do the sadhana, of course, definitely. But at the end of the day, it's all about what my relationship is with this person that makes me a seeker, or makes me wants to go forward in this journey from humanity to divinity. So Maharaj, if you can just explain us this relationship with the guru, that a two person, then we will also understand the responsibility that a guru has towards the disciple.
Thank you, Arjun, for the very nice summary. It is important to have this summary. It is not something that we are repeating. It's just something that we are using as a tool for the people to remember what we have been talking about, sort of place them in their brain as a context, so that we can proceed further. And as specifically the question that you asked, yes, at the time of giving Diksha, most gurus, Sadhgurus, would tell the disciple or the devotee that, remember, Ishta and Guru are the same. The Ishta is the divine aspect, the image of divinity that is best suited for that person. For example, even a devotee can be a follower in the Shakti mold. So maybe Kali is his Ishta. Kali is a figure of Shakti, or Durga is a figure of Shakti. So according to that person's particular type of devotion, Kali is his Ishta. So when he is concentrating, maybe at the heart point, or the pituitary point, the Agga chakra, he is concentrating the image of Kali because it suits his nature, his devotional mood. Now the Guru also points out to him that, remember, that so that there will not be any confusion, Guru and Ishta are the same. Because the more the devotee gets into a kind of relationship with his Guru, sorry for the coughing, the more a person gets into a relationship with his Guru, the more he sees his Guru before him when he sits for meditation. And then he starts to feel confused. Well, I'm supposed to concentrate on my Ishta, on Kali, but the image of Guru is coming to me. So that clear the confusion in the mind, the Guru also becomes for him another manifestation of Kali. That is why, to clear that confusion, Guru instructs him that the Guru and the Ishta are one and the same. Because it is easier for us to have a relationship, joyous relationship, or a deep, intimate relationship with a person who moves and talks and loves and scolds us, than a image, a fixed, static image that we find in pictures or in temples. Is very important. And so somebody else, maybe another person is a devotee, but his mood is like Vaishnava mood. So maybe he has Krishna or Radha Krishna as his deity, as his personal Ishta. So when the Guru tells him that Ishta and Guru are the same for you, then his Guru, when his Guru comes in his meditation, he does not feel guilty about it. If he's okay, my Guru is also a manifestation of the same Radha Krishna principle. You see, so that another very good, important aspect of that. It's not that the Guru is claiming that I'm God. No. When you concentrate on the Guru, you feel that the principles of Radha Krishna, my Radha Krishna, or the principles of Kali, my Kali, or the principles of Shiva, my Shiva, is in this manifestation, in this living embodiment. As you had just said, is that the one lighted lamp can kindle other lamps, hundreds and thousands of other lamps. But if you have a literature on lamps, let's say, where you get details about how to light a lamp, that will not help to light yourself up. You need a lighted lamp to light you. So that personal interaction with the guru is very important. And if you notice that it is a requirement for any field of life. For example, each one of you in the audience must have a specialization somewhere. When it comes to studies, you might love mathematics, or you might love physics, or English, or your own mother language, Italian, or whatever, or Bengali, or you might have a fascination for music. If you look back and try to figure out from where did this fascination come, how did you really understand that you had this knack for this special subject? Most of the time, the answer is in your school days, during childhood, you had a great teacher in that subject. Somebody who was really in love with that particular subject, and he managed to transfer that love in you. And there were also other students, but you picked it up more because you had that tendency for that particular craft or the skill or the subject. You really do not become an expert in a subject just by reading books or by just looking at videos. There must have been a personal contact with somebody who was in love with that subject, for whom that subject is his life. You see, that I think explains the role of a guru. You see someone who is living the scriptures for you. You read in the scriptures about these great rishis and great yogis and great gurus and great masters and great sannyasis and their stories. Okay, wonderful, very inspiring, but not enough. But when you see in front of you a living embodiment of that greatness somehow expressed in a body and in a person with whom you have a personal relationship, he may be like a father or a friend or a mother or even your rival in some ways. You could be arguing with him, you could be sometimes angry with him, and again make up with him, and he begins to occupy your whole mind space. So that relationship is very important. The guru, for us, when we ask these questions like, do we need a guru? It's not something, it's a need, it's not like a formula. Okay, then so you start and then you need a guru and then you get a guru and he shows the way and then you start and then you attain enlightenment, finish. It's not really that. It cannot be simplified like that. Sometimes I see among many of my friends in Europe, they take these 1-month dikshas or 7-day dikshas or the 6-month dikshas. You see, some people even ask me that I want to do a special course with you. Can you give me initiation? So in Bharat, we really, as we find that very funny. Diksha is once in a lifetime thing, especially if you get it from a Sadhguru. Here, these are like the people take it like some kind of an organic courses for a period of time where they will do exactly what the instructor tells them to do, maybe for a few hours, and follow a strict regime for 7 days, maybe in a camp or in a retreat. And for that, whatever they take, that the training or the mantra or the special formula, they call it diksha. And people don't even know the meaning of that word diksha. Dikhyate, that's a Sanskrit word. By giving means giving energy. By giving, He is helping you to destroy all your tendencies and your worldly desires. And he takes ultimate responsibility for your spiritual life as you evolve through life forms. Your guru is there with you. I mean, that's the job, that's the responsibility of a Sadhguru. It's not a 7-day retreat stuff. It's not a 1-month retreat stuff. And as I said, it's not like giving Diksha and then giving you a particular type of sadhana, changing it after 6 months. It's not even that. It's also a relationship that focuses, that makes you focus. Instead of an imaginary figure in front of your eyes or in the pituitary, you have a living figure in front of you with whom you have a relationship. And the relationship is not a worldly relationship. It's not a relationship that you want to break after some days. You need a different guru, like a different partner. No, it's not like that. It's a relationship that manages to slowly sort of encompass every aspect of your life. So what is happening? Once he is taking over your heart and your mind and everything, he is making your mind one-pointed. That's the whole idea of sadhana. That is yoga. When you're completely immersed in one aspect, and that is a divine aspect. That aspect is great and wonderful and beautiful and harmonious. The more you are immersed in that aspect, the more these qualities grow within you. That's one point. Second point is that Diksha, because we are on this topic of Diksha, Diksha means also a kind of a seed. We call it Vij in Sanskrit, a Vij mantra. So Vij means seed. And mantra is mantra. Mantra is again an international word now. Everybody is familiar with that word. We use that word mantra for everything now. What is the mantra of this great sportsman? Hard work, he says. So, that is mantra to him. But mantra is something that resonates within. Mantra is sound, is a deep, mystical sound. It is much more and more subtle than a word. It's a resonating sound, a sound that is not uttered with the help of your vocal cords, with the help of your tongue. It's a sound that resonates within the mind. And you have a special Vij for you, or a special seed. So, when we think about a seed, what are we reminded of? We are reminded of land, soil, because we plant these seeds in soil. So maybe Bhaswati Singh comes to us. She is a one particular kind of soil. And then one Sumitabha Vishwas comes to us. He is another kind of soil. So Bhaswati will have one type of seed, which will grow very well in that soil, which is wonderful for that soil. Sumitabo is another kind of soil, another kind of land, another kind of character. Maybe one is more dry and the one is more tropical. Maybe one is near the sea and one is deep within the plains. Maybe one is yellowish in color and the other is black in color. So a real good expert farmer will know exactly which seed is good for Sumitabo and which seed is good for Bhaswati. And in the case of this spiritual or Dharmik guru, Sadhguru, he will know not only the seed, he will also know the path. He'll also know the Ishta for that person. And that soil and the seed, as soon as he gets that seed, will start to respond. If he gets one of those manufactured seeds, like that comes out from factories, for all, the same for everybody, the seed will, the soil will not be able to respond. There will be no fertility. We'll make a lot of showroom out of it. We'll dress it up and pretend that look how fertile we are making this land. But actually it is dead. It is not responding. We are just showcasing a kind of a greenhouse effect. So a real seed is like a life seed. As soon as that person gets exactly the right mantra for him, then his own nature starts to respond and he begins to find some peace, shanti within himself. That is the secret of shanti. That is what our Guruji used to say, that shanti is in shabhab, that is, peace is in your own nature. When you manage to cultivate that nature, the nature that will take you to yourself, to your own self, then you find peace, harmony. And that peace is not dependent on what is happening around you. We are always blaming other people for our lack of peace. He is not giving me any peace. Life is not giving us any peace. There is so much turmoil. Look, there is war in Ukraine. Where is peace? We are always trying to find peace outside. If we look at the Gita, if you look at Mahabharata, if the war is going on, terrible, tremendous war is going on. Sri Krishna is always at peace with himself. He is never complaining. So much trouble, so much bloodshed, so much killing. Where is peace? He is not talking like that. Because his peace is inner. He knows exactly what is happening, why it is happening, and he's making these things happen. So that is the secret of peace. So in spiritual life, in our dharmic life, in many of our songs, of our devotional songs, in many of our poetries, we always compare our own bodies with the soil. Because the world is full of land, and everywhere the land is different from each other. Even in one particular place, I have seen this. Within 5 minutes, you have a completely different character of the soil. And a really expert farmer recognizes this and acts accordingly. He doesn't have any fixed idea that, look, I have this great seed, and wherever I go, I'll plant this seed only. A good farmer will never talk like this. That's like a Marxist farmer. Wherever he goes, he will give the same dogma everywhere, without seeing the character, the nature, the traditions, the culture, the social norms, the history of that particular place. They don't bother about these things. Just imposition of certain ideas superficially. Same thing happens in the spiritual life. Everybody, even the great, as you were saying, motivators of today, they are giving the same kind of speeches, secular kind of speeches, for all, the same things. There is no kind of an individual interaction where there are separate paths to explore for that particular individual. So that's why these people are good teachers, but they are not gurus, leave alone being Sadhgurus. That is one aspect that I wanted to talk about. The fact that when he gives the mantra, it's a Bij mantra. The seed he gives particularly for you. And to somebody else, he may give a completely different kind of a mantra. Number one. Number two, there's another very common, I think many people know this particular slok, that is Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara. Just these three concepts, that Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar are three principles in nature: creation, sustention, and destruction. Again, these are not three gods, not in the Semitic sense, not in the Abrahamic sense. Three principles which are worshipped. Everything in nature is worshipped. In that sense, they are Dev and Devi, godly. All the good trees are worshipped. The soil is worshipped. In the same way, abstractions of life, principles of life, like creation in time and space, worshipped. That's beautiful. Because of this principle, that we have a child. When the mother delivers that child, there's a principle of creation. The child grows up, becomes a boy, then he becomes a young man or a woman, then old age, all this period, sustention. And for the sake of sustention, you also need destruction, so that the old can be replaced by the new. So that the body one day withers, grows old, and dies. Destruction. So that is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar. So Guru, why is the Sadhguru described as the Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwar? Very important. Again, we come back to the soil. When we come to the Guru, we are a soil, but uncared for, unkept for lifetimes. So it is full of weeds. It's very dirty and totally like he's become a jungle, unorganized. Totally different opinions and conceptions and ideas and confusion, and we are just helpless. But we are still pretending to know a lot of things. These theories, these ideas, we pretend. You see? And then what does he do? He starts to guide us, to act as a mentor. He removes these weeds. That is the beauty of satsang. Through satsang, through personal interactions, through intimacy, through relationship, and sometimes he does it cruelly also. He takes out the weeds and cuts them, and it hurts. Because he's also stripping us of this excessive baggage of ego that we have. You see, so he begins to do that. And then when we are ready, that is what happens. That is what each farmer does. When the land is ready, there's a lot of plowing that goes on. After that, on a special day, especially the relationship is with the moon, during certain days of the moon, the land is more responsive. It is then that the seed is planted. The birth, Brahma. The Sadhguru becomes the Brahma. Education does not stop there. It's just starting. Before that, what was happening was just clearing the weeds. Just making us ready for sadhana. And then the seed is planted. Seed of what? For some constructive evolution, conscious evolution, and to be of some service to life. Every tree, every being is somehow serving life, serving the land, serving the environment. Every being. It is only human beings who think in only individualistic terms. Even in dharma, they are thinking about my sadhana, my guru, my idea, my enlightenment, my well-being. It hardly transfers to what can I do with my life so that I blossom and becomes a kind of a radiance for everybody around me. So that blossoming can be a service to the society. So that is what the Sadhguru does, planting the Brahma principle. And then with education and satsang and mentoring, he plays the Vishnu role, so that we play a part in this divine, in this beautiful process of life. We give back something that we have taken from life, that we have taken from our Guru. We give back something to life, Vishnu principle. And then the time comes when this role has to, when this good spiritual role has to end. Then the last veil of ego, the last veil of darkness has to dispel. And that can be done by the grace of the Guru, not by our own effort. By our own effort, we can reach to the level of complete surrender. And then the time comes, and then the Guru lifts the veil, lifts the curtain, and enlightenment, total enlightenment. When all this work and karma and this great proper action, all this becomes like a sport, divine sport or lila. Then we can look back on our life and smile. That is essential, the meaning of the slok, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwar. And I hope, Bhaswati, you have got a glimpse of the role of the Guru in our life. But we can again, our time is up. We have crossed our time limit. But we can talk about this subject endlessly. And also remember, along with these points, that with the Guru, we can share, especially a Sadhguru, we can share a very special relationship, completely different from any other relationships that we can build up in our worldly life. It is only after we sort of start our divine journey that not only a relationship with the Guru, but real relationship starts to happen in our lives. Because we are not then, in a friend or in a partner, we are not only looking at his body, his appearance, his success, and his money, and what he can do for us. We're also looking for the inner quality of that person, because we are aware of our own inner quality, and we see whether that resonates. And that's why we build a more foundationally stronger and better relationships in our life once we have built a relationship with our Sadhguru. I hope that is enough for today.
Yes, Maharaj.
Stop it.
Talking about Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Maheshwar, how Guru becomes Brahma. He removes all the weed and all the impurities in us and then plants the seed of Bij Mantra. And the way you said the Bij Mantra, the mantra is not just a sound. It's a sound that is already inside that. It's just addressed, it's not uttered. And then that mantra starts to resonate the inner sound that is within us and makes us clean and pure towards our own potential. Then Guru Vishnu, where our Guru nurtures us, even scolds us. I remember once you said that one scolding of Guru is equivalent to 1,000 Rudrakshas. So yes, scolds the person, makes him ready for the higher levels of perceptions. And then Guru becomes Maheshwar. He kills the ego, he kills the identity. And it can happen by the pain. Maybe he sometimes disappears from in front of me, and then the disciple becomes mad in front. Like we have seen when Narendranath Datta became Vivekananda, with the pain of Ramakrishna passing away in front of him, and how he became the light of the world. So yes, to understand the great depths of this Guru-disciple relationship, and in the concept of Guru, we have to go beyond this secular and this made-up words and this 1 month course and this 1 week rituals. There is a query in the comment section. Someone has asked that how can we, Maharaj, how that kind of devotion-related sadhana and diksha mentality develop in our society, especially in urban educated society. So there is a query Maharaj, someone has asked. So Maharaj was saying this. They already
also a query from India.
Yes.
He was asking,
Yes, two queries.
nice to listen about the responsibilities of a disciple. Nice. It's a good question. So we can respond to this question in our next episode.
Yes. So yes, so we will keep these queries with us. And again, once again, I would like to say that in the beginning today you were discussing about the war of Mahabharata, the Kurukshetra, and he was telling that when Krishna was urging Yudhishthira to say one lie, because this war is not about Yudhishthira becoming the most truthful person in the world. It was more about a greater thing, a greater prospect. So kind of Krishna was the guru at the time to all those, to Yudhishthira, to Arjun, a friend and a guru. So the relationship and a divinity that was together with the person. So also Maharaj was discussing about the concept of Diksha today, and that is also another very Indian word, Dikshyate, that is how a guru gives something and then it starts to remit all the impurities within us and makes us the greatest of our potential. And also we have heard from Maharaj in his satsangs that Guru is nobody, but your future, your greatest potential has come to meet you from a future to bring you apart, to take you to the realm of enlightenment. So yes, Devasisda, if you can end today's discussion, today's
Yes.
wonderful discussion.
Yeah. Yes, Argo. We are really mesmerized with today's discussion, and we got several aspects of role of Guru in our life. Especially Maharaj has lastly mentioned that he is the right person to put seed on the soil, which is within us. The according to the soil, he will put seeds accordingly so that our full potential will grow up and will get enlightened. So with this, I'll ask our audience again and again that do share this session and the session which was discussed previously with your friends, with your relatives, so that this kind of messages will go beyond and beyond, far beyond. So with this, we want to thanks Maharaj for coming to our session, and good night to all of you.